So, anything you want to talk about?
Yeah. Yeah. Like how I got a haircut and it's been almost 24 hours and you did not even notice.
That's not true. I totally noticed. I'm just not
When did you
feeling.
notice?
I'm not
Oh,
feeling it.
just tell me when you noticed.
This morning when I woke up,
When did I get my hair cut?
yesterday.
Okay. Enough said.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey listeners, ever wonder what it would be like to blow up your comfort zone at the tender age of 50? Well, we did just that. When our last kid went off to college, we hit the road in search of a new hometown. Now we bounce from city to city and bring you along for the ride. This is the Skip Town All-Stars podcast.
What's up, All Stars? Welcome back to another edition of Skip Town. This could be the penultimate episode. We have been spending a month. Penultimate means not the ultimate, but the next to the ultimate.
Did you just make that up?
No.
I literally have never heard that word before.
Penultimate?
Yeah.
Oh, they use it all the time in television.
Oh, okay.
Is the penultimate episode.
Okay.
So this is the penultimate Skip Town episode because we have been spending a month in Guilford, Connecticut. Denise's Stars Hollow. Has that bore out? Has that bore results? I don't know. We shall find out. How was that for an intro?
You used like two fancy words. You used penultimate and then you
bore.
used bore. Let me finish my sentence. I was going to bore. Yeah, you used two fancy words. Were you like on dictionary.com this morning? Are you doing that whole like learn a new word every day thing?
No, actually, my office at the moment, while we're staying here in Guilford, is a room full of books. So I may or may not have cracked a few in the month we've been here.
Okay, good to know.
Trying to expand my vernacular.
I see where this podcast is going to go today.
That's
I
right.
really do.
Everybody's like tuning out. They're like nerds.
So if you're listening to us on the podcast, we would love if you dropped us a little review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Apple, you can write anything you feel about the show. Spotify is just a star rating. So we always appreciate commentary. It pops up on our feed when we pull up Apple Podcasts. So it's really fun to see what viewers are gravitating toward and what they like. So please, if you haven't yet, leave a review for us. We'd love to see it. It's like Christmas morning when we get that little notification that someone left a review.
It's true. The only thing I would add to that is don't write anything you want there. Like if you don't like us, don't write anything. If you like us.
I just usually people that write a review.
Oh no.
Okay.
Have you ever read Yelp?
That is true. Okay. Don't write anything. Just write nice things. How's that? Just write nice things.
If you have something bad to say about
don't say it. Just like your mother said, if you have something bad to say, don't say it. You know, if nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
That's right. Don't be a troll. Anyway, back to the show. So why don't you tell us how we landed here in Guilford after many months of sort of popping in and out and having the ability to stay here for a month?
Okay, so if you've been listening to the show, watching, you know that we are right now in a home in Guilford. And I think we explained this in a couple episodes prior, but I'm going to mention it again. We're actually doing something we've never, ever done in all of our travels, and that is we are house sitting. So the caveat is that we get to stay in this beautiful home in an area of Guilford we would have rented an Airbnb from or gotten a hotel. But truth is, there are no hotels in this area, so it would have just been an Airbnb. And I was so grateful not to have to do that because everyone who knows I'm not crazy about Airbnb. I don't like paying that fee. You get crappy places, blah, blah, blah. So when this came along, it was really kind of amazing. The caveat was they have 3 cats and there are 500 plants. So I did tell the homeowner, I'm fine with the cats.
Which one gives you more consternation?
Well, it's the plants.
The plants.
Yeah, I told the homeowner, the cats will be alive. When she gets back, I don't know about these plants. Like, I've never been a green thumb. I killed a cactus one time, but how is that even possible? So I was really worried. I mean, I started having anxiety when I saw all the plants, and she did not mention the plants to me on our phone conversations. And then when we were about to go to bed, James goes, why are we doing this again? And I was like, I don't know, but I do know why. Because last summer, I'm going to explain to you how this all came about. I'm going to explain to you how this all came about. Last summer, we were here in Guilford. Stumbled upon it randomly, was not on our radar at all. I loved it immediately. It was adorable. I did an Ask a Local piece on our YouTube featuring a business owner here. The business owner, Stephanie, and I have become fast friends, and she owns a hair salon. She knew that we were going to come back in the winter because we really wanted to explore how cold it is in the winter. What is there to do in the winter? Just see the landscape in the winter. So she knew that we were going to come back in January or February. And one of her clients, lo and behold, was looking for someone to house sit as they were going to be going on a trip for about a month. And Stephanie reached out to me. I reached out to the homeowner. Her and her husband were really nice. She sounded nice on the phone. She sent me pictures of their home. I showed her our show. I directed her to our YouTube, to our podcast. And it just kind of seemed like a perfect match. We were going to be here and she was looking for someone to stay in her home. So here we are. And how has it been house sitting? Well, forget it. There is actually no reason to even ask you because you have done nothing.
Why would you say that? I feed the cats in the morning. I'm not even a cat person.
Okay, how many times have you fed these cats in the morning? We've been here for almost 30 days. Like, just be honest. Honest, James.
About 6.
Okay. And
That's
have
good.
you ever
That's
watered a
1/5
plant?
ratio. I did not sign up to water
Have you
plants.
cooked a meal?
Eggs?
How many times?
3. I've washed dishes 5 times.
So I've really been the house caregiver, taker, undertaker, caretaker,
I'm busy.
whatever you want to say. So it's actually been a lot of work. I'm not sure I would do this again, but I do love being in this area.
You're not sure you would do it again, or you would do it again with me? You're thinking very long.
I am, because I'm
That's a
like,
lull.
because having you here is like not really having you here. So it's like I'd be alone anyway. So I'm like, I just don't know if I want to do all that work. It just, I know it saved us a lot of money on renting a place for a month, but it's also been a lot of work. So
I don't know. I've had a great time. I've gone to the gym. I've made friends there. I've checked out the bar scene. I've made at least 4 or 5 friends there.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. I mean, I've really gotten around. Like, I fully have explored Guilford. It's been
me.
enjoyable for me.
Tell me your Guilford experience, please.
My Guilford experience started out with just going to the gym, and people there immediately were like, oh, you're checking out the area? Here's my friend's name. He's a builder, and all kinds of things. And just, I have little conversations sort of wherever I go now. Also rewinding, if
You've had so much time on your hands.
I would not say that's true. I've just been trying to get the full experience, hun.
Oh, I've been watering plants and scooping out poop from litter boxes, but go ahead.
I did that one time. Okay. I did the litter box
Yay,
one time.
Let's have a party.
It makes me wheezy. I'm kind of allergic to cats.
You are, what's the word when you're just allergic during certain times? Occasional allergies. You have occasional allergies.
No, I legit, like if I touch something, have I pet any of these cats? Have you seen me petting a cat?
No, I actually have not.
No,
because
if I pet the cat and then I accidentally rub my face, then I'm wheezing and itching for like 48 hours.
Because it's like you're not even here.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
You are not petting the cats because it's like you're not even here.
No, I don't want to itch and wheeze and sneeze.
So anyway, continue with your Guilford experience. This is so enlightening. I want to hear about all the things you've done.
Well, I've been to the orchard several times. They have a really killer offering when it comes to produce.
I literally want to strangle you right now. Go ahead.
And kombucha. And they even make these nice little lunches that you could just heat up in a little roaster, which is great. I mean, it's been fantastic. I've really enjoyed this area. In the fall, I came here, and one of my trepidations, I'm using all big words this podcast because I am enlightened. I'm surrounded by lots and lots of books from Yale University. One of my major trepidations was that nobody really said hello to me in the 6 hours I was here. Nobody said hello. Even the waitress barely was,
When you came to check it out in the fall.
When I came to check out Guilford in the fall.
For 6 hours.
Yes. It was in the episode, I think it was called A Tale of 10 Cities or whatever. One of our episodes, James's Connecticut Adventure. I was here for a little while, didn't really get a good barometer on how nice or not nice the people were because frankly, nobody was talking to me. So I was a little worried about that. I was. Turns out my fears are unfounded. I've had a fantastic time while we've been here.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you.
Yep. Everywhere I go.
So as you're watching this, you're probably going to see a cat jump up on the couch about right now. There he goes.
There you go.
And you're going to probably see them walking around quite a bit.
You're going to see them beating up on the one. There's one that gets beat up all the time.
He's over on the other side of the couch. He's over by the windowsill, so
good.
he's fine. Okay. So in any case, I'm really glad to hear you've had a great experience.
Yeah.
The one thing that has stood out to me during our time here is how the definition of a mild winter varies from state to state, person to person.
Mm-hmm.
So since we've been here, we had a nor'easter, and that snowed us in for 2 days. And then 3 days after that, it started snowing again. So...
And don't leave out the part where it's been consistently under 30 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
For
It's
a
been
span
about
of about 8 or 9 days now.
28 degrees since we've gotten here. And I think the first night we arrived was 18. So mild is really relative. And I have to say, although it did snow, and James and I have not been in snow for quite some time, and it was so much fun watching him shovel that I actually recorded it and made a short out of it. There are certain things that we have both forgotten from being out of the snow for so long. Like the first one is, if you have a home with a garage, you're supposed to put your car in the garage before a snowstorm.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah,
we knew this storm was coming because people were telling us the storm was coming, and Stephanie, who I've now become very good friends with, actually called me to tell me to put a shovel by the front door because we're going to need it to shovel our way out of the house. And it did not dawn on us whatsoever to put our car in the garage. So that was the first snowstorm that we had. Then we did it again the second time. The second time, 4 days later, when it snowed again, we didn't put our car in the garage, which is no big deal, but it was covered in snow. And it's so ridiculous that there's a garage. And guess what? It's empty. It's empty. And it never even dawned on us to do that. Then James came to Connecticut with no gloves, which has proven to be...
yeah, we're getting a lot of comments on that.
Yeah, quite chilly for his hands. So I don't know. I mean, it's just... it's so many things that we just forgot about not being in snow.
I would say chief among them is the expectation to walk outside. I don't know how many times I've walked outside and had to come right back in and get my heavier coat. So even just walking to the garage, I'm like getting the chills. So, I mean, our blood is thin. We're big fat babies.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure everyone around here is like, oh, Lord.
So I did ask Stephanie yesterday, so, because I wanted her gauge on it. So how's the winter? Like, would you say it's still mild? She's like, oh yeah, this is really mild. And I was like, okay. But all right, that all aside, we have experienced snow, we have experienced cold, but I think that we can both agree it is still so beautiful here. Minus how cold it is and how much snow there is, we both really like it.
Absolutely. Wait, what did you say? I forgot.
That we both like it.
Oh, they both like it.
Even though there's snow and it's cold.
Yeah.
Because we both get out. I mean, when I'm not shoveling poop out of litter boxes, feeding the cats, watering the plants, and cooking us food, I do manage to get out as well. And I have to say, even driving in the snow hasn't been as terrible or bothersome or worrisome that I thought it would be. Here is the thing, though, that I have to tell you. We're in an area of Guilford that's a little further north. It's not North Guilford. I've been schooled on that because there's South Guilford, which is right by the water, and Guilford, Connecticut sits on the water. It sits on the Long Island Sound. The area that we're in is a little further north. It is definitely more rural. The house is on 10 acres. The thing that is worrisome is driving at night because it's a country road. And I am petrified of an animal jumping out like that. That's it. My life would be over if I hit an animal. My life would just be over. So there are deer everywhere. We saw a fox.
Well, not only that, but like the rocks come right up to the side of the road. Like as if, for our friends in Los Angeles, if you're driving through
Mulholland.
yeah, Mulholland or whatever in the middle of the night. You got to be careful because there are little crags sticking out and everything. And some guy's yard, if you're just swinging too close to their side of the road, there are rocks jutting out. I mean,
Yeah.
there are little granite cliffs here and everything everywhere.
So I personally hate driving at night. And if I'm going to go into New Haven, I just really do my very best to take the freeway everywhere because I just don't want an animal jumping out in the nighttime. And there's no streetlights. So when you're driving on these roads, there's absolutely no streetlights. I hate it. I'm going to tell you right now, that is a part of being here that I
You
actually
hate driving at night, or
Driving
you hate
at
driving
night.
in the cold?
No, I'll drive in the cold. I hate driving at night. Yeah.
So that brings up a good point. One of the things that I've actually grown to like about this area is so many towns that we've visited around here, or including this one, are at least 300 years old, right?
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of ghosts, there's a lot of murder and mayhem, there are a lot of stories to be told over the period of a couple centuries, or a handful of centuries, and frankly, there's a creepy factor to some of these little towns that you're going through. And I got to be honest, I kind of dig it. It's weird. Like, I'm clearly a weirdo because like Ellie and I went to a place last night called Old Weathersfield, just outside of Hartford. And the sun had set. It was gloomy and snowy and weird and creepy. And we both agreed we could live here. And so
Did you actually go to the Haunting in Connecticut house yesterday?
We did. Yes, we did. For those of you who have seen the movie A Haunting in Connecticut, I know exactly where it is. Denise, I'm sure at some point we'll put up photos on our Instagram and on all our social media platforms.
Okay, so
we went right past it.
I have to ask, the whole I could live here, was it before the Haunting in Connecticut house or after the Haunting in Connecticut house?
It was after. And it was kind of in a
okay.
different area. But that particular house, I got to say, it's on such a busy street. It's really hard to get any sort of, generally when you think haunted house, it's like it's the house at the end of the street, or
a dead end.
It's in like a creepy little dark cul-de-sac or whatever. This house was on, I mean, we had to go past it a couple times just to have time to slow down and take a photo because there was so much traffic.
It's a busy street.
It is a very busy street.
That house, though, that if you look up anything regarding that house, they say that the movie doesn't do that house justice. Like, it is demon possessed.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Still to this day, there's been an exorcism. Wasn't there an exorcism? It was one of those exorcism
there was
movies,
an
right?
exorcism done there. But prior to that, the stories were crazy. I don't know what it's like now, but even People magazine had this is the scariest house. Like, the movie did not do it justice. I don't know, since the exorcism, if it's
it wasn't the same couple, though, that did the Conjuring movies, right? It wasn't the same. What are their names?
Yeah, Ed and Lorraine Warren.
A Haunting in Connecticut is the same.
Yeah,
they went there. It's one of their string of.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Connecticut has a lot of
Yeah,
possessions.
The Conjuring house. There's actually tours of the Conjuring house.
There is?
Yeah, there's.
The Conjuring house.
Yeah,
right.
that's different. There's tours of the Conjuring house, so they're making money off of that.
Yeah, I think the people that live at 208, whatever this address is, could probably, whatever street that was you sent us to. You're the one that found it for us. And Ellie got an amazing photo.
She
to her
did.
credit.
So I'm going to post it on my social media, and everyone can take a look at the Haunting in Connecticut house. But you're right, there is definitely a creepy factor to it, and I think it has to do with also the stone fences everywhere. That just lends itself to an era that just conjures.
Well done.
Let's see how I did that. I don't know, just ghost stories. I can't say, I don't know, ghost stories. It's just those stone fences are everywhere. So there is definitely a feel here when you're here of history, of, oh, did you hear that?
It sounds like a ghost.
It does sound like a ghost, but it's not. It's the heating system in the house. There is a feeling here of history. There's no question about it. There's a feeling, a little bit of a creepiness. I mean, look, there are homes here from the 1700s, and they have those doors that go down into the cellar on the side of the house. That to me always says, Michael Myers. I that is just scary. So when, all of those come into play when you're driving down the street.
Yeah.
There's no street lights. You see the house from the 1700s. You see the side cellar door. If they have a light on inside the house, you can see it. You're like, just, it is a little creepy for sure.
It is.
And you like it. I'm fine. Look, I don't need to be creeped out. I just, I like everything else.
You like it during the daytime when it just looks like a beautiful colonial house?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I prefer the daytime. Yeah.
I like it at night where it looks like, Jameson McMurphy around 1728 took a candlestick to the head.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, since we've been here, we have acted like a local. So as James said, he's been to the gym, we've gone to restaurants, we've gone shopping at the grocery store, we've gone to their farmer's market. It's Bishop Orchard, which is their local farmer's market. It's a real true farm. And we've also been to, I'm laughing because the cat just whacked me with his tail. We've been to clothing stores here, hardware stores. I mean, we really have acted like a local since we've been here.
Yeah.
And I felt like the first time I came here, I spent 3 days here. Everyone was really nice, lovely, friendly. I still have felt that way. The food is great. We talk about food a lot. The food here is great. It's an easy town to get around. The beauty of it is that New Haven, again, is 20 minutes from here. So if you need anything from a city that you're not getting in this area, you drive there. But Guilford itself is super convenient. Everything is within like 10 minutes. So I love it. I mean, I have thoroughly enjoyed our visit here because we've acted like a local and it's felt really easy. Like we fell into it so easily, I feel.
Agree. One of the added benefits is you're only a couple hours from New York City if you want. You're only 3 hours from Boston if you want. There are plenty, like regionally, it gives us everything we wanted in terms of suddenly somebody just wants to be on camera. Okay, bro. He wants a snack.
Go ahead. So geographically, you're right. It's
Geographically, we're close to New York. We're close to Boston. So many areas, so many things to do. 4th of July is popping off all around, in all these little towns all around here. There are seaport towns. The beauty of Guilford is that it has the beach. It's not. There is a marina here. There's a harbor here and everything. Mm-hmm. It's not a seaport town per se. Not. But there is sort of ocean life if you want it. You can go ocean kayaking, you can go clamming, all that other stuff. Or, within a few minutes, you can be up in the woods, in the mountains. Oh, and one of the other things that I really do like, actually, is having a farm stand right down the street that's generally open 24/7. It's an honor system. What's the name of that place?
Oh, Nut Pines Farm. I cannot believe you brought that up. That is one of my favorite places. I did a video on it, so check out our Instagram and see this video. It is a little building that's about as 200 square feet, maybe.
Not even. It's a shed.
But it's cute. Come on, it has a French
door on it. But it's the size of a shed. It's
French
not
windows. Yeah. And you walk in and there are baked goods. You explain it. I don't want to hijack this. This is so incredible. I've never seen anything like it.
Imagine you love smoking weed and
Are you really going to use weed?
I know you hate weed.
What are you doing?
Imagine
You're doing
you
a
love
drug
smoking
reference?
weed.
No, you're not doing a drug reference. That's so silly. Pick something else.
Imagine you love smoking weed and right down the street, there is a place where you can go at any time of the day and get snacks, soda pops, treats, baked goods.
Candles.
You don't like where this is heading with the weed?
No, not at all.
Okay. Imagine you're fat and you just want some pie in the middle of the night.
Uh-huh.
And down the street, they have Pie Day Friday. Or is it Friday Pie Day?
I think it's the same.
It's on the billboard outside of Nut Plains Farm, right?
It's not even a billboard. It's a little like...
Yeah, it's a little chalkboard or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know what the flavors are every Friday because it's on the sign. And you say to yourself, I'm feeling super fat today. I think I'm just going to indulge and get the banana cream pie from Nut Plains Farm. You can go down there and throw, I don't know exactly how much a slice of pie is because frankly, I haven't bought any, but...
We've bought so much other things though.
Yeah, maple syrup, peanut butter, all that stuff. You just go down there, throw your cash in the bin, and take out whatever you want. It's like having an extended refrigerator. It's like having your own little convenience store right here in the neighborhood.
And everything is local. I mean, first of all, the people who own that little store, I don't even know what you call it. It's a little stand is what it is. It's a little farm stand. They bake everything in their house, and then they bring it down to the little farm stand that's enclosed, and it's an honor system, and you write down on a sheet of paper what you purchased, and then you put it in this little box, your cash. They also take Venmo, and I think they even said they take a card. So I don't understand how they take a card because I didn't see a machine there, but they also have a little area for change. So if you brought like a 20 and it's like $19, they have like singles where you can give yourself change. It is so unbelievable, so adorable. They have refrigerated items. They have homemade ice cream there, homemade English muffins, which is what we purchased.
Those are great.
And we got cookies, and oh my gosh, they have everything. It is so cute. And the first thing I said when I walked in is I said, oh my gosh, if this was in LA, it would be ransacked. And then you said it would smell like urine.
It would smell like urine. Oh my God.
I mean, to be in a place with something like that is really unheard of in this day and age. I mean, where you're seeing smash and grabs on TV. I want to live in a place like that. I really, really do.
So that part is fantastic.
What I didn't realize is when I was here at the end of summer, we saw people out in the Long Island Sound actually clamming, and a lot of restaurants around the beach area open, serving lobster rolls, fried clams, steamed clams. I did not know that you can actually clam in the winter. Did you know that?
I did not.
I know. And so people are actually clamming in the winter. Stephanie mentioned clamming, and I was like, it's kind of cold, isn't it? But so that I did not realize. Now, some of the restaurants that are open along the water during the summer obviously are closed during the winter. They really are just seasonal, but there are plenty of places you can have a beautiful seafood meal that is, near the water. Just it may not be one of those popular places that's just open during the summertime.
Plus, you have access to a lot of similar towns. Madison is a great town. Mm-hmm. Essex is a really great town. We're going to do an episode on that if we haven't already. And
these are all towns that are scattered along the coast of Connecticut.
Right. So basically all the way to the state line, I guess. Where is it? It's Old Saybrook is great.
Yes.
All the way out to New London. I thought New London was a great town. We talked about it in a previous episode. All the way, wrap yourself around the coast of the United States and head up into Massachusetts. At that point, you're right there at Cape Cod. So many things that we wanted in a community. There's only one big problem for us right now, and that is we can't have a house here.
No. There's no inventory. And when I say there's no inventory, I mean legitimately there is no inventory. We wanted to stay below, our top price was $700,000. We've talked about this. We'd like to stay around $5 million if we can. Anywhere we go, anywhere. Like we know where we want to be. For that price range, there was 2 houses, literally 2 houses available. Yeah. And it is really unfortunate. I met a real estate agent while I was here. It was just last week. And I asked him, I said, why is there no inventory? And James and I have been really scratching our heads about it, wondering, is it because it's wintertime and people don't want to move in the winter? Really, honestly, couldn't figure out why there's no inventory. I even went to a dentist while I was here, and in the lobby, there were 2 ladies talking, and they were locals and different ages. One was a millennial, one was a boomer. And they were talking about, the one was saying her sister was looking for a house here but couldn't find it, so she had to move to a different town. The other one was saying how her girlfriend was looking for a house here. They couldn't find it, so they had to move elsewhere. That was really disheartening. And when I asked the real estate agent that I met with about this, he said something that really made sense that James and I had not even considered. He said, look, I have a best friend. He has a house in this area. He wants to unload it desperately, but he has a 3% interest rate. And he does not want to buy a house at a 6.5% interest rate. And so he's just holding on to it. And he said a lot of people locked in 3 years ago to low interest rates and are really apprehensive about unloading their home for a higher interest rate. And, I said, well, what does that really mean? So you just hold on to your house forever because you have a 3% interest rate? He said people will eventually sell. He said interest rates will go down. He said that, there's no crystal ball, but it'll probably happen this summer. And I said, okay, great. I said, interest rates are going to go down, which means home prices are going to go down. Go up. It's always like that. Interest rates go down, home prices go up. And he said, not necessarily. He said, look, they may go up a little bit, but you'll never see the pandemic prices and the frenzy that you were seeing 3 years ago. And he said it with confidence. And I said, why? And he said, oh, those days are over. He said, they're just over. He said, people are where they want to be. And, prices may go up a little bit, but it's not going to be crazy. So I don't know. I hope he's right. I mean, right now we're still seeing over asking, cash only. So, I mean, we're both hoping that it settles down because we love this area. I don't know how we could live here, to be honest with you, when there's no inventory. So we've been starting to hedge our bets a little bit. We're looking at different areas along the coast, just because we want to be realistic about it, which is so disheartening because we've been on the road for a year and a half. And although there are places that we really like and have been in our top 5, it stinks knowing that you can't get a place because there's nothing available. Not because you can't afford it. That's one thing. Like being out of your price range is one thing, but knowing there's nothing available, that's another. Because what are you going to do? You just wait for someone to get transferred or somebody to die. I mean, both of those are like terrible. They're just terrible. So I don't know. So so that's where we are right now. There is very low inventory.
You actually had a phone call with a local real estate agent that was selling a house. Strangely enough, I had driven by the house a day before because it was, as you said, there were only 2 that really checked all the boxes for us that came up on all of the internet searches in this area. I had driven past the one house and there were only 4 photos of this house
On Zillow.
And you actually talked to the guy. How was that experience?
Oh, that was lovely. So I called the guy, and one of the first things I asked him was, why are there only 4 photos of this house? And he was super sassy on the phone. I mean, before he even answered my question.
That's your code for he was an a-hole.
Yeah.
You always say sassy.
A number one. He was a number one. Before he even answered my question about the 4 photos, he told me that there was an offer on the table, cash, and he just wanted to let me know that right out of the gate. And I said, okay. I mean, he knew nothing about me. He literally knew nothing other than we were visiting and looking at homes that came across this on Zillow. He didn't know if I was a multimillionaire or a poor person who was, living out of my car. He knew nothing. So when I asked him about the 4 photos, he said, well, why would I post all the photos? So you can then make your decision from sitting on a couch? And I said, yeah, exactly. And he was like, well, I just, and before he could even finish, I said, why would I want to waste your time or mine? Like having all the photos on there just makes sense. If it's a house I don't like, I'm not going to go see it. Yeah, well, I guess so. But no, I just didn't feel it was necessary to put all the photos up. And then I replied with, well, usually when there's only 4 photos up and 2 of them are the kitchen and one's the backyard and one's the front yard, it's because there's, the house isn't
because
nice
the rest
enough.
of the rooms are ratchet.
Yeah, the house doesn't show well on the inside. And, then he did a little back and forth with me. Come to find out, I was right. The guy who owned the home was remodeling it himself, which is always scary to hear. And he had enough of it or ran out of money, whatever the case may be. I wasn't going to get the truth from this used car salesman who was, representing the buyer. And or the seller who was representing the seller. So we just left it at that. I hung up with him and I was telling James the story. And before I could finish it, he said, we're not going to see that house. We are never going to see that house. And lo and behold, 3 days ago, you said to me.
Yeah. Turns out the guy now has 19 photos on the website. And whatever happened with this cash buyer that he had in hand already has obviously dissipated because it's still listed as, available. Additionally, it's one of those houses where they just kept piggybacking driveways off of a previous driveway.
Oh,
so they made their
oh.
own lane.
Okay.
And
Yeah, let me explain that.
the house goes all the way back, but you have to pass like 3 houses in your driveway to get to it.
Yes. So if you look on the lot, the photo of the lot on Zillow, you can see that the house is really far off the road. I'm throwing this out there. The driveway could be a quarter of a mile. I don't know. It looks really like a long driveway. So the house is way far back off the street with all these other houses sprinkled on each side of the driveway. Now, behind the house is a huge lot. I don't know how many acres. I'm just going to say maybe 20 acres or 30 acres. I don't know. I'm just looking at the picture. So when I asked the realtor about it, I said, "What do you know about the lot behind this home? Has it been, who owns it? Has it been purchased? Is it going to be used for development? What do you know about it?" This was like better than his answer about the photos. He said, "That big lot?" He said, "Why are you worried about it?" He said, "Where are they even going to access the lot? You know how long the driveway would have to be to access the lot?" And I said, "Yeah, exactly as long as the driveway to access this home."
Exactly. Clearly it's been done because that's what's going on with the home you're trying to sell.
Yeah, his answer was, "Well, they're not just going to throw a road. They're not going to throw a driveway off of the road to access that back lot." And I said, "Well, they did it with this house." And I said, "Do you know who owns that? Are they going to be developing back there?" He's like, "No, I don't." And I was like, "Okay, just give me an answer. Tell me. Like, you're stupid. You don't know. So just say I'm stupid and I don't know. Don't argue with me." But he was just in a mood. So yeah, so we hung
I'm sure
up.
he's gotten a lot of calls on the house. Upon a deeper dive into, I think it was Realtor.com actually had a better cascade of all the transactions. So between 2020 or something like that, when the house was purchased for $350,000, within 6 months, they listed it for $850,000 because they were trying, it was a money grab. They were trying to throw some, and you could tell by the photos. I know I'm one of those guys who has remodeled my own stuff, and I could tell that some of the products that were used in the refurbishing of this house are all sort of your rank and file standard Home Depot tile, Home Depot, definitely like
And a
particle
beautiful
board cabinets.
100-year-old home.
Right. So all that to say,
He ruined
they
it.
cheaped out on all the supplies that the materials that they were using to rehab these rooms, and they thought they were just going to spend, $50,000 to $100,000 on this thing and then make $400,000 profits. Well, if you look at the cascade of transactions in the couple of years since then, it's been on and off the market at least 6 times. They've reduced the price at least 7 times. It's nuts. So now they want to sell it for $650 after coming down from $850 over several relistings and taking it off the market and putting it back on.
It's still not even worth $650 because the truth is whoever comes in has to rip all that crappy stuff out. I mean, I saw it in the photo and I was like, wow. They literally put in Home Depot cabinets into this beautiful 100-year-old plus house. So now, even if you're a person with money, it's just a bad buy. Like, it's just
you have to strip all the rooms again and everything.
Yeah, you get to tear it apart. So it's like, not for $650, not for $850. My guess is for $500. They will sell that home for $500,000, and then that person is going to have to redo the entire house. So, yeah, the interesting thing is if the guy had said to me on the phone, "Hey, you know what? I don't have many photos up because it just doesn't show well, but it looks so much better in person." The guy did cheap out a little bit. You'll probably have to redo the kitchen, but it is sitting on a beautiful piece of property. You should just come and take a look at it if you're in town. We would have gone.
Yeah, we would have.
100%.
Even though I already hated the driveway, we would have gone to at least see the house.
So why he acted the way he did on the phone call makes no sense. I honestly don't understand it because he's a salesman. He's representing somebody. I have a feeling that the seller must be as sassy as the real estate agent.
I think the guy's probably had enough of his seller at that point. Yeah, at this point, yeah.
No, I'm saying the seller's probably as sassy.
Oh no, I'm saying he's matching his energy. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, because you don't have a real estate agent like that unless you're kind of a jerk too. Because I think most people who are nice wouldn't have a jerky real estate agent.
You think? I don't know.
Oh.
It's commerce. I don't think it matters.
Really?
There are plenty of nice people who put up with stuff like that just to make that sale.
Okay. Yeah, you could be right.
You know?
But anyway, I just think it could, had he just behaved and been nice, we would have actually gone over there to look at the house. And, you know, who knows anything, right? Like, if the price dropped and we felt like we could live in it and fix it up ourselves later, maybe it would, you know, be an option. I don't know. Just, there are no options when you behave like that. So,
There are no options.
And plus, he knows that there's no inventory. So that real estate agent isn't dumb. Like there's no inventory. So he can pretty much say and do whatever he wants. But I guess.
I think he's tired. I think there's a part of him that's probably tired of fielding phone calls all day.
Just
asking,
show the
like,
photos.
What's wrong with the house?
Yeah, show the photos.
I don't think you're the first person to even call him that day.
I don't even think so. Yeah.
I mean, there are so many buyers in the market.
Yeah.
We are. It does bring up an interesting point, though, going back to the friendly real estate agent that you met.
Yeah, very.
He does bring up an interesting point when he says that everybody who was going to flee the cities during the pandemic, or everybody who was sort of itching to move somewhere else for a change of scenery and sort of reboot their lives, have pretty much already done it. We are probably now the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
That because we are out on the loose still, per se. I wonder what that means for us. I wonder in the end if it's going to be better for us in terms of finding a better price on our house. Like maybe, like I've noticed in several markets, Savannah not really being one of them.
Nope.
But in several markets where we've been, Oklahoma City, some of the places early on where I said, oh, I really like this, I could buy a piece of land here or whatever. A lot of those places, the prices have come down. Some have been sort of inelastic in their prices. It's another big word.
Ooh.
It means they're not moving. Prices are not moving.
Thank you. I had a feeling I knew what that was. Inelastic. It sort of speaks for itself, that word. Go ahead.
It does. The prices have been inelastic in those areas. The Bernie, Texases, other areas like that, where it's just sort of everybody wants what they're bringing all the time.
Yep.
Those kind of places.
Auburn.
Auburn has been, there's Amy says there's still very little inventory
Yep.
in there, in that area. But aside from that, I've noticed so many, like, even houses, specific houses that I put a heart on or bookmarked or whatever, have gone down $30,000, $40,000 in other areas around the country. So I wonder where it's going to settle in terms of when we're probably actually really going to buy this summer or what have you.
You know what I love is every time I tell a boomer about the interest rate story, they all say the same thing. Oh, I guess they don't remember when interest rates were 12%.
Yeah.
If I hear one more boomer
God.
tell me, oh, when I bought my first house, the interest rate was 14.
It's like, bro, you bought your house for $60,000 working at General Motors, for crying out loud.
Boomers are so funny. They just want to say like how hard it always is.
Yeah.
They just
never sat in a college class, and if you did, your tuition was $60.
Yep, exactly. I guess they don't know. My interest rate was 12%. I'm like, okay, I can give two shits about your interest rate. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, there's no inventory here.
Yeah. So boomers, they want to squeeze everything for themselves. They're hanging on.
Like with nails.
They are. They are. And their voices sound like nails on a chalkboard for sure. So, all right. So moving on. That was our real estate experience.
But I had two. I had a good one with the guy I met, Anthony, and then I had a bad one with the Zillow guy. So it's fine. I mean, we're 50-50. What is that? Is that 1 for 1 or 0 for 2?
You're 1 for 2.
Oh, I'm 1 for 2.
Yeah.
Okay. I never understood that.
I know.
We
talk about it
wrong.
all the time.
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time when I tell you a team's record or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is the winning number the first number or the second number?
Well, the second number is the total amount of attempts. So you tried twice. You talked to one real estate agent and another, and one of them was good, and the other one was a W, and the other one was an L. So you're 1-1 record-wise.
So if
or you're 1 for 2 odds-wise.
Got it. All right. I'll ask you again next week.
I know, for sure. All right. So I guess without further ado, could you live here?
I could, 100%, even with the snow. Even with the snow, I could live here because there's so much that this area has to offer for our family and for us.
Great.
What about you? Because you seem very apprehensive. Like, it's almost like, I have to be honest with you, you do this thing often where I'm going to tell you about you.
You're going to tell me about me? All right. Go on, I'm listening.
You do this thing where I know you like it, but you don't want to give it up that you like it. And it could not, I'm not just talking about a place. I'm talking about a movie, a party, a dinner. Like, this is the
What?
game that you play. This is the game that you
I
play.
think I'm pretty obvious when I like something.
No, you are not. It's like dragging you to an event, complaining, kicking, screaming, and then afterward, like, oh, that was so much fun. It's like, no. So you're playing this game right now where you're like non-committal. So just answer. Do you like
Where
it?
I'm non-committal?
You're extremely non-committal. When Stephanie was here the other day, you're like, I like it. You're like, I'm like, what's
I don't
that?
think so. I don't think I was like that at all.
Oh.
You're really paraphrasing by saying that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was sitting on the couch. I was
She asked,
watching
so
the
how do you?
conversation.
And I said, yeah, I love the town. There are no houses here for us to buy.
I don't think I heard you say I love the town. You don't use the word love as an adjective for most things. So I know now you are making that up.
Okay.
Could you live here? And
yeah.
don't give me your little no.
Yeah.
Just
yeah,
say
I
yes
could totally
or no.
live
Yes
here.
or no.
If we can find a house, yes, I could totally live here.
Oh.
I like the fact that there's a beach, there's a green. I mean, clearly there's nothing going on right now because it's a dead of winter. We're getting pounded by snow. But I like the fact that I see middle school kids walking home from school. It's a nice community. It's a really nice community. I could totally live here. I could totally live in at least 4 or 5 towns that we've seen here in Connecticut while we've been here. So I guess really what it's going to come down to is we have sort of found our region. We feel like we found people, generally speaking, in this entire area that we can assimilate with, that we can be part of the fabric of the community, if you will. And it's really just going to come down to getting the house that we want in one of these said communities. You want it to be in Guilford. I want that for you. I could totally make it happen here for myself. Like I said, I've already made friends. I've had a good time since I've been here.
It is funny to me how
I'm not going to hide that.
How important it is to you for everyone to be nice.
It is.
Do not understand that at all. But
Well, you want to move to an area where people are jerks? We already had that. We've already lived in such a place.
Look, we had nice neighbors.
Like our
Like,
immediate community that our extended family that we
It
made
doesn't
for ourselves
matter
in
to me.
LA was awesome. All my colleagues, great.
It
But
doesn't-
are you going to let me finish? Can I finish?
Go ahead.
My gosh, you're like Kanye right now, cutting me off on stage for crying out loud.
Are you Taylor Swift?
I am. I'm the Taylor Swift of this podcast.
All right, go ahead.
You wait. I will outlast you. I'll show you in the end.
Touche.
Yeah.
Touche. Look at you.
That's right.
All right, so finish.
I forget what I was saying.
You're not at all like Taylor Swift because she continued.
Because she continued. I think that it's important that if you're going to move somewhere that you don't want to feel like an outsider everywhere you go. Like you don't want people talking to you. You just got done saying how everybody was so nice to you the first 3 days you were here.
But I don't.
And that meant something to you. And it wasn't just because they were Stephanie's friends, right?
It doesn't go into my top 5.
What, friendly people?
It does. I'm not on Reddit like you are looking for friendly places.
I like friendly places.
You literally are your search word is friendly when you put in a city.
Not exactly. I said
he's
in a nice place. Is Ogden, Utah, a nice place to live? And on Reddit, a lot of people say yes. Some people say no.
I find it surprising for someone who doesn't talk.
I want to have the option. And
Okay.
when I go out, I mean, even, yesterday being with Ellie, there was an eye roll moment from her because I was chopping it up with somebody, just random stranger or whatever. I like getting in a little back and forth. I don't mind small talk. I don't know. I I think it's important. If you're going to be part of a community, then you got to like figure out a way to fit in. And one of the best ways to fit in is people making you feel like you can. So I do like friendly people. I like friendly communities.
I do find it interesting how much you learn about your partner when you're, spending a lot of time with them. And we've been together for 27, 26 years.
Yeah.
And I have just learned on this adventure, and honestly, in only the last 6 months, how friendly has become part of his top 5 from a man who doesn't talk to anybody, who never really like hung out with his friends back in LA, who doesn't call people on the phone.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, but friendly.
Who calls people on the phone?
I call people on the phone.
I call my friends on the phone.
Oh,
Old friends, Christmas, Thanksgiving. I like catching up.
I rest my case. But friendly is in his top 5. Okay.
Friendly is in my top 5. Although, it is funny because even for as much as you want friends and you want community and all that other stuff, there are people where you like see them at the grocery store and you're like, oh God, I don't feel like getting in a conversation with this person right now. And then you duck out and you go down another aisle and you hope you can cash out before that person comes up.
Coming from Mr. Friendly.
That's me.
Oh, okay.
We've all been there.
No.
You've avoided people you actually like because you were busy.
I'm super friendly and I'm super talkative.
You are super talkative.
Yeah.
I would not classify you as super friendly.
I am very friendly.
You are not super
Just
friendly.
ask anyone.
Oh my God.
Just ask anyone. Anyway, okay, so we've established that we could both live here. So do you have a top 5? Because I have a top 5 and I have a bottom 5.
I only have a couple tops, so I'm going to let you do your top 5
Okay.
right now.
Top 5
I'm going to allow you. I'm going to
you're going to allow me?
you
Oh, man. Thank you. Are you going to mansplain it again?
to do,
Oh,
yes.
jeez. Okay. So my top 5 for Guilford, Connecticut is pretty straightforward. So number 1 is going to be Stephanie Huffman, my new BFF that I met here at the end of the summer and just enjoy every minute I've gotten to spend with her in these past 30 days. She's a business owner at a hair salon called Echo. And she's a fantastic stylist and just a great person. Local, has been here since she was 11, knows the town inside and out, and just I've enjoyed every minute I've got to spend with her.
That's a good number 1.
Yeah. Number 2 is the downtown area. It's just easy. Like I said earlier, it's a square. It's easy to get around. It's walkable. I don't know. I like everything about it. It's really nice.
It's got a nice pentagram in the park too. Or I don't know if it's pentagram.
Are you sure it's pentagram? Because I don't think it is. I
don't
know you think
it's like the New Haven style. First off, everybody should know that New Haven is allegedly a hotbed of paranormal activity. I think we may not have mentioned this before.
This is like 10 minutes from New Haven. So I don't know.
But the Guilford Green is sort of a much smaller version of that.
I know you're reading this like secret society conspiracy book right now, but I don't think there's a pentagram in the middle of the green of Guilford. But okay. The downtown area is really great. Okay.
The creepy part is great.
Okay. I do like the people. All right. Like they're not.
Oh, shoot.
They're not.
What? Miss Friendly.
They're not in my top 5 of everywhere I travel in the country. It's not like, look, an airport being close is more important to me than the friendliness of my neighbors. But in this particular town, everyone is really friendly. I like it. That's my number 3. Number 4, I love the fact that if we lived here, we'd be right by the water. We've never had that. I mean, in LA, we lived 45 minutes from the water, which I guess is close, but in traffic, it always took 2 hours. So that didn't really count. Places we've looked at all along our travels, only a couple have been near the water. Really one, Savannah, it's near Tybee Island, that we actually thought,
It's still a bit of a schlep.
It's
25 minutes.
No, it's like 15.
It's like 20, 25 minutes.
Are you going to be doing this the whole podcast?
She doesn't know.
I do know. It's 15 minutes. Anyway, I like the fact, this is my top 5. Seriously, I'm going to turn your mic off. Okay, so I like the fact that people go clamming in the winter. The summertime, it's a great gathering place for the whole town. I love it. There's many different areas to get your water on. There's the Long Island Sound. There are lakes. It's just there are many choices. Number 4. That's 1, 2, 3. That was number 4. Number 5. New Haven is right there. It's again, 15, 20 minutes away, depending on where you live. It's a great city. My bottom 5. The airport is far. It's Hartford. It's an hour. I hate that. That's a bummer. There are no houses available. It's number 2. I do feel like, as beautiful as the landscape is, 80% of this area, there is that 20% of people that came in and just ruined it by building a house that does not fit the neighborhood at all. And we've seen this across the country. Either they go gigantic and enormous like a McMansion, which makes no sense, or they throw up a house with like cheap vinyl siding when there's like a colonial on each side. So
or 5 of them.
Yeah, so that's a bummer. I'm not gonna lie, because you're driving and you're like, beautiful home, and then you're like, what is this house doing here? So I think there should be an ordinance on ruining a landscape of a historical town like Guilford. When there's so much history here, you should not be allowed to just throw up anything, whether it's a monstrosity or a 1,000 square foot home. Just there should be some aesthetics going on.
Maybe you should run for city council.
That's a good idea. Maybe I will. My 4th one is the real estate agent, the lovely man with the no photos on Zillow. He was fantastic. And then my 5th one. Okay, so this to me, honest to God, is like, can almost be a deal breaker. I have to figure out my way around it because it has been weighing on me heavily. I learned that there are ticks in this area. I have learned so much about ticks in the last 30 days, and I just don't even know. Like when the spring comes or summer comes, you go hiking, what am I going to wear? Like, do I wear a wetsuit? Do I wear a ski mask that covers my face and head? What do people do? There are hiking trails everywhere. I mean, everywhere. So people go hiking, but I do not want to get Lyme disease.
Doug, I think that's a great life goal, honey. Not to get Lyme disease.
And there are deer
You can spray
everywhere.
stuff on yourself. Okay, there are deer everywhere. But let's face it, you are not Snow White, and they are not coming up to you while you're polishing an apple or whatever, singing to the birds.
I do want to pet a
They're
deer.
They're not gonna let you pet them.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm really worried about the ticks. Like so much so that I thought to myself, how am I ever gonna go on a hike? So I need to YouTube this, like what people wear when they go hiking, because this is a hiking epicenter. So I know people are doing it.
A lot of trails.
Are people getting ticks?
I'm sure there are people who get ticks. Yeah. But they know how to check for them. They probably check immediately after they're done hiking. They take off their clothes.
Do you know how hard it is?
They have mud rooms here. Did you know that? They have mud rooms
Yeah, they do.
here?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So they disrobe in the mud room and they throw their stuff in the washer.
But somebody has to check them because, you can't check like...
It would be helpful to have a partner to check you, all your nooks and crannies for ticks.
Oh, God, stop. Oh, my God. No. See, you do this and you just like paint a picture that I can't ever undo. Yeah. Oh, okay. So the ticks. I'm going to have a major problem with the ticks.
You are. You're going to have to like wear a hat or some, don't they have like, I don't know, does patchouli oil work? That seems to repel a lot of people. I mean, a lot of things. So
I love patchouli.
We'll have to ask. Stephanie loves it too. She
Yes.
says I'm a patchouli girl.
Yeah, so I'll have to ask her.
Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be an oil or some sort of elixir that you can rub on your skin that deters ticks from boring into your arm.
All right.
Or wherever.
I'll have to figure it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, the ticks, that's my 5th of my bottom 5.
That's a good one. That's a good one not to like. Out of all the bottom 5s, I'd say ticks is probably up there in terms of classic bottom 5s.
You're not worried about ticks?
I'm not worried about ticks, no. I got you. I'll have you check me. I look forward to it.
You're going to have me check you, even when you don't go for a hike?
I am. I'm like, I don't know, maybe under there. Are you sure? Maybe a little, make sure you're looking good.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be fun.
All right.
Anyway, or go hiking in the winter. You can go hiking right now. You'd be totally fine.
Yeah, you're right. I would be. There's nothing alive out there.
All right, so that's the wrap up on Guilford. We still have a handful of towns that we want to check out, that we want to absolutely make 100% sure. So you're going to be seeing and hearing those in the coming weeks. But right now, as it stands, Denise has found her town. I have found my region. And
Oh, see, here we go again.
I'm not being non-committal.
You just said region. You just said region.
I don't know. I mean,
Just
I think Essex is really
full
nice.
tank.
Essex. Watch out for the Essex episode.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.